Okay, here we go. Hey guys, we're live now. As usual, it's me and Roger. Oh, we got an echo. I think Roger's got to change some of his settings over there. So anyway, in today's webinar, we're going to be building a holidays capsule in 30 minutes. Hopefully it will take just 30 minutes and we will see how it goes. And in the holiday spirit, we're going to be building a 2019 holidays capsule, and you will see why soon enough. And just because we're building a 2019 capsule, I've got my SDC 2019 shirt as well to commemorate that year. So let's move on to the introductions. Roger, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
All right. Yeah, I'm not Jonathan Pan, even though it looks like that for the screen. But hey, Roger Kibbe, Senior Technical Evangelist for Bixby, and I think I know many of you, so I'm not going to go into a long introduction, but looking forward to a fun session today, and we definitely have some really cool giveaways, and I get to play Santa today and give away things, so I'm super excited about that. So when you guys hear some Santa bells, something's good is going to happen. It's going to happen several times during the office hours.
Yes.
And on the serious side, as you're listening to it, and if you have any questions at all, please put your questions in the YouTube chat, and we will answer those in the open Q&A afterwards. All right. So look forward to it.
Yep, so that's Roger. My name is Jonathan Pan, and I'm also a technical evangelist. I think I've met a lot of you guys as well. And I have too many cats. So yeah, let's just move on to the content for today. So we're going to be building the 2019 holidays capsule, and I'll be using the holidayAPI.com. And in this, we'll be demonstrating some modeling, some simple training examples, API calls, filtering it and formatting that data for Bixby to easily use and display to the user. And we're going to be using viv.time library for the dialog. And finally, we'll also utilize the list of in a result view. So some of you might be wondering why it's a 2019 holidays capsule. Here we have the simple API call from the holidays API. And let's try the year 2020 right here. And it may be a little hard for you guys to see, but I will also read some of it. So basically, I have a free account here, and free accounts are limited to last year's historical data only. So unfortunately, I won't be upgrading to premium for this sample, but perhaps that could be a consideration someday. So what happens if we change the year to 2019 and we send that? We can see that now it returns a bunch of different holidays for 2019. So we're going to be using this API to build a Bixby capsule. And I know the API key is here. Yeah, not very secure, but I will be deleting this API key after this stream. So yeah, anyway, let's get started immediately. Just hop right into it, into Bixby Studio. And right here, we're just going to just create a new capsule from scratch, and we're going to name this playground.old holidays and create. So this just generates, kind of like the folder structure and a bunch of other files for you. And while it's loading, hopefully it learns or it loads properly. Okay, so that's going to be the first hiccup that we have. I'm going to restart that real quick. I think Bixby Studio is sitting there for too long, so when that happens, it just kind of sits there and syncs for a while. So I'm going to close that old capsule that I had and create a new one. And maybe that one already exists now. So older holidays, real quick. And we're going to create. And there we go. So now we have our fresh new capsule. And we're going to pop up the IDE and reset that. So here we have this empty capsule. And first thing I want to do is to update the capsule.bxb. The runtime version is 8 now, and we want an override. And we're going to want this specific override here, allow dialogues on detail pages. I'll show you guys why we need this later. But for now, I'm just going to put it there. And we're going to do a couple of capsule imports. Just for good practice, I always import the viv.core import, and that way you can just set it as core. So moving forward, you can save 4 characters every time you need to type viv.core, which if you have a lot of modeling, that definitely adds up. And then you can import viv.time as just time. And the version is going to be 3.3.26. And to find the version number, you just go to the documentation, search for library, and then you have library capsules, and then just go down to time. We'll just manually scroll down here. And we can see that we have this version number right here. So you want to use the version numbers listed in the documentation for probably the smoothest version that you can use. So now that we have our capsule.bxb file set up, let's go ahead and start creating the models. So for this, we are going to have just a few models. And the first one's going to be the, where did my cursor go? There it is. First one's just going to be a holiday, and it's going to be a structure. There we go. And in this structure, it's going to have the name of the holiday, and it's going to be a core.text type. And we're going to require the name, and the visibility will be private. So this visibility private thing, it's, yeah, Roger.
Zoom in a little bit.
Oh, sure, yeah. We can zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Is that zoomed in enough, Roger, or do you think it needs to be zoomed in?
People tell me in the comments. I just noticed it looks good to me now.
I see. Okay. So the next property that we have in this is a time.date structure. So this is when we imported the time library capsule. And we're going to be using this in our past holidays capsule. And it's going to be required and just one date as well. So in the actions, we're just going to create a get holidays action. So this will grab the holidays from the API and then return relevant holiday structures to the user. And we're also going to need to take an input so that way the user can actually search for it. And for this example, I'm going to make it required, but it's going to not be happy with that. And real quick, let's just add a type of search, but it's not going to be happy with this input because we did not create that concept yet. So let's go ahead and create a search concept, which will be a text, and that's all it needs to be. It just needs to be a text. So now we have our get holidays action, which takes an input of search. I know it's type search. I just realized naming that might be a tiny bit confusing, but hopefully not. And then it outputs the holiday structure. And in our holiday structure, we have the name of the holiday as well as the date of the holiday. So next, let's create the JavaScript file. For this, I always name it the same thing as the action that will be referencing the JavaScript file. So in this case, just get holidays. The parameter in here is going to be search. And for now, let's actually try returning a hard-coded holiday as Christmas Day. And the date will be year 2019, because we are still talking about last year's holidays. Month is 12, which is December, and day is 25, which is the day. So right now, this is just going to return to us a hard-coded holiday of Christmas. And we will be replacing that, obviously, with the API call and such. So before we do that, before we try this out, we have to link it together in the endpoints file. Just fill this out. So we have the action right here, get holidays. Then this is the accepted inputs, which we defined. And finally, the JS file, which is getholidays.js. So now that we've linked these files together, we should be able to call this. So in our training, let's just do when is Christmas. Well, when was Christmas? And just highlight this, and this will be a search concept because that's going to match the same model as the input into our get holidays action. And the goal is going to be a holiday. So let's just compile this real quick and try it out. When was Christmas?
Here's what I found.
And indeed, it found that, and it also returned the date, which the time library graciously formatted for us, as well as the name Christmas Day. So we know that the flow is going as expected. It's taking in the search of Christmas and it's feeding that into the get holidays. But right now, our get holidays JavaScript is just spitting out this hard-coded holiday. So that's not a problem because we're going to go ahead and adjust that. But before moving on to that, I'm going to add one more training. When was Christmas Day? So now this way we can slot search right here and holiday as well. So pretty much the same, except now you can also add day at the end, and it's not going to flag the word day for our search input. So cool. Now that we have that functional, we're going to have to do some JavaScript to get everything started. So we're going to need the URL and I guess the API key now. I will explain how to, or what you should do with the API key later. But first, let's go ahead and copy this URL into here. And I'm going to move the API key just right here. So eventually you want to move this to config. And what this means is that you want to move your API key into the your Bixby developer. I don't know why I'm having a brain fart what it's called, but the portal, and you can just put your API keys and secrets there instead of leaving them in the JavaScript file here. It's just more secure like that, and it's best practice. But I don't think we have enough time to get to that today. But I did add that comment there, and we're going to need the HTTP library. And we're going to need, let's also have the console library as well. That way we can console log some stuff. Okay, cool. So now we will want to do the HTTP call. So var result equals http.get URL. And the functions and all this stuff for the HTTP library is available in the documentation. So you just search HTTP and you'll find these functions for it. And we're going to want to glue together the URL and the API key right here. And let's go ahead and take a look at the API real quick in Postman to see what we're expecting. So we're expecting this structure here, well, object, JavaScript object, JSON object. And it returns to us a status, some warnings, requests, and then finally the holidays array right here. And this holidays array has a bunch of different holiday objects in it, and each one has a name and a date. Both of them are strings, as we can see. So if the API is coming in properly, then it should return, we should be able to see this status key if we try inside of our JavaScript. So let's go ahead and console log the result.status and see what happens here. So if we run this,
Here's what I found.
you'll see that it's still returning the hard-coded Christmas thing that I put in. But let's take a look at the log itself. And we can see that it says it's undefined. Now, why is that? That's a good question. And sometimes people getting started with the Bixby HTTP library may not realize this. But you should. It helps a lot to tell Bixby what it's expecting from the API call. So in this case, you want to create an options object to pass into the HTTP library. And if we pass this in and tell it that it's expecting a JSON format, then when we run this API
Here's
call,
what I found.
it should properly console log 200. There it is. And if we dive deeper into the actual request itself, we can see that this is the URL. We can see a bunch of stuff. We can see that the actual, it parsed the status, or it got the status, which is 200 from the headers. And we can see that it's getting this giant object now. And we managed to read status being 200 from the object itself. So now we have access to the actual holidays. And one quick thing before moving on is something important to know about Bixby's HTTP library. This is actually synchronous code. Oh, so, I got my Bixby firing off in the background. This is actually synchronous code. So normally when you do HTTP calls in JavaScript, you have to do, await and try catches, and then you have to do use promises or whatever, right? .thens and stuff like that. So in this case, it's actually synchronous code. So it's going to block this console log after it until this line gets fired. So we don't have to worry about awaits or try catches in this case. We just, throw it in there as if it was just a synchronous line of code. So that's why, this console log actually appears for those that, may be wondering about that. But now we have the holidays structure that we have to match the results to. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. We're going to want to filter the holidays object, the holidays from the result based on the search term that the user provides. So I'm going to create a holidays filtered variable here, and it's just going to be result.holidays.filter. And already it's so soon. Okay, let me put Roger up.
All right, guys, ready for the first giveaway? All right, so we have 128 people who've registered. And what should I give away? I'm going to reach into my box here. Why don't we start with something cool? How about a Galaxy S9 phone?
Oh my gosh, Santa's generous this year.
All right, who wants a Galaxy S9? All right, this is going. All right, I'm going to do a random number between 101 and 128. I'm just seeing this web thing here. Number 28. Let me open my spreadsheet here. Number 28.
Who's the lucky winner?
Oh my gosh, Simon Rucha.
Oh,
Simon.
Wow. Simon, congratulations. You are a very familiar face in around Bixby, so I'm very happy
Simon.
for you. Yeah.
So we'll get in contact with you afterwards to get an address. It needs to be a U.S. address, and we'll ship you out your Galaxy S9.
Great. Back to the code.
Main show.
All right. Thanks, Roger. And congratulations, Simon, for winning that Galaxy S9. So anyway, back to filtering the holidays. I think that's what I was doing last, right? Yeah, filtering the holidays. So we want to return when the name of the holiday, lowercase, that way, we avoid casing issues, includes the substring of our search term and also to lowercase as well, just to make sure that the casing doesn't become a problem. So now that we filter out our holidays, we want to create, we want to make sure that it matches our structure, that this object, the holiday, matches our structure. And if we look at that, we just have a name and a date. And if we look at the API, we can see that we have name, date, and then a bunch of other stuff, all these keys that we actually want to get rid of, because otherwise Bixby's not going to like all those illegal bindings, as it calls it. So let's go back to the JS and do that real quick. So we can just do a holidays filtered for each loop. And it's just going to do that. And we're going to need to first format the date into the time.date structure. And Roger, could you mute yourself real quick? I can hear some whatever stuff that you're doing. So, all right. So, and the time.date structure looks like this. So, we're not going to use this snippet, but it looks like, oh wait, actually I just have it right. I have it right down there. So it looks like this. This is what the time.date model looks like. So we're going to want to format the date that the API gives us into this thing. And that's pretty simple, right? It's just a simple year, and then we have the date split. And we know that this API always returns year, month, and day. So we're just going to do that real quick, year, month, and the second one is always month, and the third one is always the day. So there we go. Now that we have our date formatted, we're going to want to add this specific holiday into our holidays array that we plan to return to the user. So we have the name as o.name, and we have the date as the new date model that or the new date object that we created here. So let's see. I think everything looks good, but things might explode when we actually try to run it. And finally, let's return this real quick to the user so they can see what we're talking about. So when was tax day?
Here's what I found.
Hey, there we go. No, surprisingly, I actually coded this in one go with no errors, so we don't have to go through and debug some JavaScript errors. But we can see that it's returning April 15th. Everyone's favorite holiday, I'm sure of it, is tax day. So now, though, we don't want it to look like this, obviously. This isn't a very engaging or appealing capsule. First things first, let's change the example name into our incredible capsule that we're building, which is 2019 holidays. And we can just leave this as whatever it is. That's fine for now. But let's also create a view for it. So it's going to be the holiday view, and it's going to be a result view. We're going to match the holiday concept that we created earlier as holiday, which we'll just be referring to it as holiday throughout the rest of the code. And it's going to be from the output, from output of get holidays action. And this line of code allows us to access the action as well as the parameters and stuff that happened inside the action. So here we have access to now this get holidays action with that, and we can access the search param to build some more engaging dialogue. So let's go ahead and do that. Our message is going to be this, and we're going to want to say the name of the holiday, right? So it's going to be holiday.name. And this is the some Bixby syntax for referencing keys and stuff and formatting inside of these structures. So in this case, we're referring to the holiday structure that we have here, and we're referring to the name property right here inside of this. So once you type this out a bunch, you'll get used to this type of syntax. So the next thing, which is interesting, is we can just do the value of holiday.date. And this is something really cool about using the time library, is that it automatically constructs something that's auditorily appealing based on the time.date model. So when was tax day?
Tax day was on Monday, April 15th, 2019.
There we go. So now we have Bixby reading to us, the proper way and the proper date and the holiday. So let's also search up another one. When was employee day?
Employee Appreciation Day was on Friday, March 1st, 2019.
Yeah, so it's a very, perhaps one of my favorite holidays is to feel appreciated on March 1st. And let's go on. And so what happens, though, if we have more than one potential day? So, for example, Christmas, right? We have Christmas Eve, and so on and so forth, right? And right now, it doesn't like that. It's just kind of crashing. And let's just see what happens or what's going on here. So we can see here that it's returning 4 different holidays here, right? It's returning Orthodox Christmas Eve, Orthodox Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, and Christmas Day. And in this situation, we're going to want to allow the user to clarify which Christmas did they mean. And to do that, we want to use the render, and we're going to want to check to see if the size of holiday is greater than 1. And if it is, then we use a list of holiday. And I think it's the exact syntax. Oh, there we go. Yeah, we need the where each H to represent the individual holiday. Cell card. We're going to just use a cell card for this. And we're going to put some content, primary, and we're going to do value h.name. So what this does is it will show a cell card for each of the potential Christmases that you're looking for. And now you can see that these aren't clickable, right? So we're going to want to address that real quick. We're going to add the onClick view for H. And what this does is after you click it, it kicks you back into this result view and then just deals with it as if it was just one Christmas. So that's what happens there. So when was Christmas? And we can click on it.
Christmas Eve was on Tuesday, December 24th, 2019.
Voila, there you go. But we're going to want some dialogue here as well because that's not very engaging or responsive. So we need to check for the size here as well. So if, and we're going to need an else if, and finally we're going to need an else as well. Oh, just the else. We're going to move this one here because we're going to do size of holiday equal to 1. So this is, the dialog isn't going to change when we just have one holiday from this thing right here. But for holidays, if we have more than one holiday, if it's greater than 1, we're going to want something different here. And we can just do something like which value action.search. So now we are using the search term that the user provided here. And so which, excuse me, let me drink a little bit of water here. Okay. Which search term did you mean? And finally, for the if nothing pops up, and that's what this else is, sorry, searching for the syntax here, value action.search yielded no holidays from 2019. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what happens now.
Which Christmas did you mean?
So there we go. Now it's giving us the which Christmas, and just to make this look a tiny bit better, we can change that into a title, and now we can select a specific Christmas.
Christmas Day was on Wednesday, December 25th, 2019.
Cool, but I did mention why I added this earlier, and this is the reason why. If we comment this out and we run this whole thing again.
Which Christmas did you mean?
After we click on Christmas, we can see that nothing happens. And the reason why is because the result view for a single holiday is just one line of dialogue at the top. And without this flag, Bixby won't read it to you. So that's why it's important when jumping from a list of view into a detail view to have this flag on, especially with a capsule like this. So now,
which Christmas did you mean? Orthodox Christmas Day was on Monday, January 7th, 2019.
So now with this flag, it will read that for us. But what about the rest of the conditions here? If we have holiday equal 1, and if we have no results. So let's try, when was tax day?
Tax day was on Monday, April 15th, 2019.
And that seems to work pretty well. And finally, when was
Sorry.
Oops. My bad, I pressed enter twice there.
Sorry, searching for TASFASFOF yielded no holidays from 2019.
All right, great. So we are hitting all three of these clauses just fine, all no problem. And I think that's pretty much going to be it in terms of the live coding demo. Obviously, there's still a ton of work to do for this type of capsule to be, fully fleshed. And conveniently, I've made a list of the things that you should immediately do, as well as some things that would be nice to add to this capsule. So for example, one of the first things you should do is to move that API key to the developer console. That's what it's called, the developer console. Earlier, I couldn't remember the name. And Santa's back already. Here we go. Let's go. Let's see what Santa has to give us.
All right, guys. So we're going to get a random number between 1 and 128 again. Let's see what Santa is going to give away. Let me reach in my bag of tricks. Some Galaxy Buds.
Whoa, Galaxy Buds. I wish I was in the raffle.
Some Galaxy Buds. All right. Ho, ho, ho. All right. Let's do our random number generator. Number 112. Let me check on my spreadsheet here. Number 112 is, and I might mispronounce your first name, Jomeen V. George. Jomeen George.
Congratulations.
Some Galaxy Buds. Yay!
Wow. It's a pretty awesome prize. Yeah.
All right. Back to the main show.
Back to the main show. Oh, excuse me. The main show is almost over. So anyway, after moving the API key to the developer console, you should allow, for example, the year and or country to be inputted. But for that, you would need to upgrade and pay money to the API. That's not something that I can afford. So the thing after that, you should create an input view for the search term. And this is important, especially if the search term is required. Now, of course, you could alternatively make it optional and then just show them all the holidays and then have them, pick which holiday they want to look at, right? So they can browse different holidays. But if you did make the search term required, you would need this. And with any input view, you want a prompt for training for it if you do add it. Now, clearly, this capsule does not have enough training examples, right? We've only factored in a single word slot with or without the word day after it, right? So people can ask in many different ways, like, show me when Christmas was in 2018, or show me when Christmas was last year, or show me when Christmas Eve, or New Year's Eve. So you have 2-3 word slots to consider and to train for. And after that, you can make it more engaging by adding images or some SSML. Right, so with the SSML, you can play some holiday jingle like Roger likes to do whenever Santa comes around with specific holidays. Right, that's just one example. And afterwards, you should improve the dialogue. You should randomize, have a couple different dialogue strings that Bixby reads. That way, it's not too static and the exact same every single time. You should also account for past, present, and future tense, especially if you include different years into a holidays capsule. Finally, you can always look at what else the API has to offer. I've only used the bare minimum functionality that the API has to offer, and I'm willing to bet that there's more things that it can do, and that can always provide inspiration for what you'd like to add to a capsule like this. And last but not least is you should add stories for automated testing, because once a capsule like this gets more and more functionality, that type of automated testing will save you a lot of time and a lot of headaches. In terms of maybe you add a new training example, but then an old one somehow stopped working, right? And an automated test would easily catch that for you. So there we go. It's Q&A time, and we can bring up Roger as well. And I will also take a look.
All right. So let's see. The first question was, and I think I'll answer this because my dialog only works on version 5 or lower. Do I need to use it in the current version? How do I use it in the current version? Okay, I know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
I'm going to paste something into the chat. Didn't look so great in the chat there, but basically, starting in version 6, there's some flags that were set as the default that can suppress dialogue, and you need to turn these on. So if you look what I set there, I said allow dialogue on detail pages. So what this means is if you're going from a summary page, right? So from multiple, let's say you have 10 results and you click on one of the results, or say first one, or give it the name, and go to a summary page, to a detail page. By default, if that's false, it will not actually say the dialogue. So if you set that to true, allow it on detail pages, it'll say it. So that could be reason number 1. The second reason is this flag, no fallback dialogue in views. And you want to set that to false. If that's true, honestly, I don't like this flag. But this basically says there's 2 ways to set up dialogue. So you can basically have a dialogue in a separate dialogue file, or you can have it in the message key inside of a view. If that's true, it's only going to look for that message key inside of the view and not the separate dialogue file. So set that to false and it'll work. That does bring up a kind of a bigger point about Bixby development. Now, everybody has their own style. I will tell you, my style has evolved to now I write almost all of my dialogue in my views in under the message key. Um, I like to look at the dialogue and work on my UI at the same time, and I think they're related, and I like them in the same file. Um, if you keep it in a separate dialogue, um, it actually provides a little more flexibility around some things you can do and some reuse. But I will tell you, for my own Bixby development, I just stick all of my dialogues in those messages in a view, unless for some reason there isn't a view, which would be a very unusual thing with Bixby. But totally up to you guys. But you can see that code if you're on version. I think it starts in version 6. You may need to set one or more of those overrides there. Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah.
Long answer, but an important thing that captures a lot of people. Okay. There was a question about taking external data from a database.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, an API call basically does that as long as the database has an API link to it, right? Like the Holidays API, I'm sure it's pulling from their database to provide you that information. So, yeah, if you have that set up, you'll be able to do that in Bixby through an API. There's not really more direct methods for accessing databases with Bixby besides an API, right? So like you can't just like rig it up to like your Node.js server and that would be the thing accessing it, right? So like, you just use an API in that case. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. No. Find a database, or there's those. What's the online spreadsheet that everyone's using?
I don't remember, but hashtag.
You guys know what it is.
Yeah.
And it works really great.
Oh, Airtable.
Airtable. We actually have some sample code out on GitHub,
Right.
connecting Bixby to Airtable and using it, and I find that is pretty useful there. But yeah, any database with an API, just run it with the API calls. All right. Can I use Bixby Assistant on a Samsung J6? No. So Bixby runs on the A series and then the mainline S series, not on the J series. So sorry about that. And then there is a question about, about deprecations. What is the best way to handle deprecations?
Yeah. So, really it's been a manual process, right? You get an email, you go through your capsule, and then you click on little warnings and fix it manually. I know they were working on an automatic deprecation fixer for developers, and I don't think it's out yet, Roger. Correct me if I'm wrong.
There's a fixer in the thing that will auto, if you right click on an error, that will correct
Right.
something. I don't think it handles deprecations there. I mean, I guess I'll say this around deprecations is I wouldn't. So you can always go get the latest version, but I wouldn't worry about it. So one thing that we used to do is deprecate things and
Remove them.
on with Bixby, and it would actually go to end of life. We've really, unless there's a security issue, we've stopped that practice. So just because you have a deprecation or you're using something that is no longer supported, it will keep your capsule will keep on working unless it was something that we fixed because of a security issue. And now it should be really clear in any release notes. So we try to let people know.
Yeah.
Also, we'll send out emails to you guys if you're using something deprecated. When it goes to basically stage 1 is just a warning. Stage 2 means, so there's 3 stages of deprecation. Stage 1, you see that warning. Stage 2 means it'll still run, but if you try to submit the capsule, like an update, it's going to say you can't submit it until you fix that. In stage 3 is when it would actually stop, your capsule stop working. So we rarely ever go to stage 3 now. That's only if there's a security issue.
So recently, I think like last couple months, there was one stage 3 deprecation, and that revolved around Bixby ID or the user ID, and that was due to legal compliance issues, right? So like Bixby migrated over to comply with the new laws, and the old one has to get deprecated and removed because of that. So if you're running into that specific deprecation, you should definitely go back, fix it, and resubmit the capsule. But for most other deprecations, like Roger said, they rarely reach stage 3 nowadays.
You know what, Jonathan? You know what time I think it is?
Again.
All right, let me get ready here. All right. What are we going to give away this time? I think we need to give away an Active 2 watch.
Wow. The Active 2 watch.
Who wants an Active 2 watch? These are super cool. Actually, I have one. I love it. We're going to give you an Active 2 watch, and that has Bixby on it. And you can develop for Bixby. So let me go generate a random number here. Random number generator gives me number 85.
85.
Let me see. Okay, spreadsheet number 85 is Robert, and I might mispronounce your last name, Hasenko. Robert, congratulations. You are the winner of a Bixby watch, a Samsung Active 2 watch. So
it's pretty awesome. Wow.
All right.
Congrats, Roger.
All right. Congratulations to me. Congrats to Robert.
Oh yeah, Robert. Sorry, got the wires crossed in my brain there.
All right. Go back. We can be serious again now.
Oh yeah. Wait, what were we even talking about? Deprecations, I think. Yeah.
All right. Let me just get that aside so I don't give it away again. Let's see. All right. What is the best way? Okay. I'm getting deprecations message. Yeah. I mean, I think go into the docs and there is the under the library capsules and make sure your library is up to date. Sometimes there still are deprecations that are stage 1. I wouldn't worry about that. They're really you only need to worry about if you have a stage 2 deprecation, which means it will not let you submit things. All right. What else do we got? What other questions do we got?
I think we're caught up on questions for now.
Caught up in questions. Come on, you guys have questions. Okay. If I don't get questions, Santa can't come out again.
Oh boy. That's
I motivated you?
Wow. Stakes just got high.
And Santa has some things.
The Gear 360.
Yeah, I think that's next.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting, huh?
All right, somebody ask a question. Got a Samsung Bixby TV. How to set it up? Yeah, so here's the deal with TV. So I can't tell you how to set up the TV itself. The TV you can go ahead and develop for it just by setting the target in your capsule of the TV, and you can see the TV in the simulator. But as of yet, there is not a marketplace for TVs. So as an end user, not yet, coming soon, you'll be able to enable capsules for a TV. But you can definitely develop for it. So right now you can develop for the watch, for the phone, obviously, for the watch, and for the fridge. So I'll tell you that the phone and the fridge act very, very similar. Matter of fact, the fridge is essentially a giant tablet. So pretty easy if you haven't enabled fridge as a target to add fridge as a target. Watch is a little bit different. It doesn't support lock-in. So really the idea of the watch is that most uses of the watch is really simple back and forth, not multi-turn conversations to ask it something. So watch is appropriate for pretty simple capsules. All right.
Next question. This is a good one from Bhavya. Sorry if I say your guy's name wrong, but what's your favorite color, Roger?
Oh boy. Okay, so it used to be red, but then I went to Cal, and red is for Stanford. So then I switched it to blue. So blue's my favorite color.
Ah, I see. Mine also used to be red, but then I learned I was red-green colorblind, so I can't actually see red. So now I don't even know, like my identity is a crisis and I don't know my favorite colors anymore. Next question. It's a good question from Jenny. What's the biggest thing that you think will come out for Bixby next year? And my biggest thing that I think will come out for Bixby, and maybe it'll be Roger's too, but it's probably going to be monetization, some form of monetization in your capsules. So yeah, Roger, what do you think?
I'd say that's thing. I think you guys should be able to make some money
Yeah.
capsules. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
Leave it
Stay
at.
tuned. Yeah.
All right. What else? What else do we got? See, threatening to take away Santa brought all the questions up.
Yeah, there we go. It's
Definitely want to see Santa again. Don't worry. A few minutes.
So Rajiv asked, will I be able to test on it? I'm assuming it is referring to the TV. And no, not yet. Right. The marketplace isn't out yet. So
But you will be able to. So you can always do a private submission. So when you can do it, and Jonathan's been working a lot with the fridge recently, right? And so you do a private submission, and then you can test something on the fridge. Correct?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Do a private. So definitely when you can't test on the TV yet, but when it's out, you will be able to do that. Do you see a rise in general Bixby usage over the pandemic? Yeah, well, I'll
So,
share. Oh, go ahead, John.
yeah, I guess I'm not sure how much we can share about this, but my 2 cents on it is that the new kind of next Bixby update was very well received, right? And some of you as developers with capsules might, go take a look at your analytics or something, and you might, see some positive stuff there. So yeah, I mean, Roger, what do you think about
Yeah, I
this?
was going to say the same. I mean, I
Yeah.
think right when the pandemic hit, I think, and I read this across all voice assistants, there was a little bit of a dip.
Mhm.
And then people started getting used to it and started playing more with them and started going, I don't know whether they're just home more and wanted to use it. But there was an increase in that. It a little bit depends on the device, right? So actually, when people not moving around, they use their phones less. So voice assistant phones on usage on phones went down a little bit. On other devices, it went up. So it's had an interesting kind of effect over there. But I'd say overall, it's been positive for voice assistants in Bixby. Explain about the monetization. I can't explain anything other than to say, stay tuned.
It's
Sorry.
coming. Yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. I'm going to ask you, Jenny Stenhouse. What third-party capsule do you use daily?
Are you asking me, Roger, or are you asking? Oh, okay, yeah. So I mean, I do use Big Sky. I use Copycat, which is my own capsule. Sometimes I use Meme Generator as well, just for some fun. And I do use Quizlet as well to play some trivia, particularly when I'm driving. I like doing that. So yeah, I kind of have a bias in the capsules I use, right? There's no hiding that. So what about you, Roger?
Okay, so copycat. So Big Sky is set as my default weather capsule, because I love it. So that's the easy one. Another one. So you're talking daily. So that's a good one. Um, well, I do use Smart Things, and I use some of the Smart Things integrations. I probably use that daily. And then really like Question of the Day. I love the content they have in that. It's so well done. So I use Question of the Day
Yeah.
daily. It gives me my kind of a daily entertainment there.
Yeah.
Good question. I love those kind of questions.
Next question from Rajiv. Is there a dashboard on all capsules you can check from the web? There is a dashboard for specific capsules, but not for all your capsules. So you just go to your developer console, and then you go to that specific capsule, and there's an analytics tab that you can click on.
Is that a question? I mean, dashboard and all capsule again. So you can check your own capsules.
Yes.
But others no. But I mean, are
Oh,
you asking, is the question, is there a web marketplace for Bixby? Can you maybe clarify that question
okay.
there? Or do you see any opportunities in marketplace for dealers? What would you like to see that isn't being represented? Oh boy, really good question. Yeah, I have forgotten that some of the categories. So if you go into Bixby, really good way to do this. And
Go to the marketplace categories. Yeah.
marketplace, and you look at the categories and click on some of the categories, and you can think of some that are pretty okay. So I know one. There's not a lot in social. I think, let me see. I'm trying to. Smart home is really kind of sparse. I think. And then photography's got some more going on here. I mean, 80% of the capsules are either games, or kind of what is the other one?
Facts.
Education and reference.
Yeah.
Right. So all the kind of fact template capsules end up in education reference or games, right? Which kind of represents a little bit of how people use voice assistants. On the other hand, if you're in a crowded category, less an opportunity. So I'd say go into the marketplace, go look at it by category, and figure out the categories that are have some opportunities there.
Yeah, I think there's not many in the finance category either, right? Like that type of stuff. So, yeah. Next question from Pete. Do you see any opportunities in the marketplace for developers? Oh wait, you just read that question, right, Roger? Yeah. From Simon, is it possible to make a capsule which sends notifications to the user every month? Would you like to answer this one?
Yeah, sure. So there isn't a good idea. Actually, I think there's a you can upvote notifications on Bixby developers and as a feature you'd like to see, but no, not yet, not yet. But it's definitely on the radar there to allow kind of notification. So you want to be able to say something happens and you want to pop up a notification or something in your capsule, like an Android notification or something on different on the Tizen devices. I'd let you know that. Definitely asked for and understood and working on it.
Yeah.
Are there any new features coming? Well, we can't really talk about new features, but we gave you a strong hint about the most exciting new feature coming around monetization.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. And Rajiv asks, when is the UK marketplace coming? Unfortunately, I don't think we really have any specific details to provide in regards to that. So,
yep, can't answer
yeah,
that.
yeah.
If I could wave my magic wand, it'd be tomorrow.
Yes, that would be if Santa could give us all that gift, that'd be great, right?
Wait a second.
Oh, again.
All right. All right. All right. So Santa's going to give away a Gear 360 camera here. So let's see who the winner of the Gear 360 camera is going to be. Let's generate a random number. It is number 90. Who is
90.
number 90? Number 90 is Mr. Dave Johnson. Dave Johnson
Dave Johnson, congratulations.
won a Gear. Let me just note this 360 camera. All right. All right. So back to seriousness.
Does Santa have any more gifts to give out?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Oh,
Running to the end of the thing. I don't know. We'll have to. I gotta check with Santa.
yes.
Maybe.
So Frankie has given us a great suggestion. Add an accessibility section to the marketplace. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, right? You know.
I actually really love that idea.
Yeah.
If you haven't done that, when you request a feature, please do that. That's an awesome idea.
It is. And yeah, go ahead, Roger.
Voice only captures a visual access. Yeah, quite frank, I would. So any of your capsules. So Bixby is inherently multimodal, but I actually think best practice is to make sure your capsule works voice only, because I can have my phone across the room and ask Bixby things, and it should work fine voice only, and you should just test that. And I'm not going to get into HEF and HOM, hands and eyes free mode versus hands-on mode. There's some tutorial videos on YouTube, but it's a way to tell if the user said hi Bixby. In other words, invoked it via voice, in which case you don't know if they can see the screen, versus hands-on mode, which means they use the Bixby button, and then you can make an assumption that they can see the screen. And you can do some more sophisticated capsules. You might want to vary the response depending on whether the user uses the button or used hi Bixby there.
Great.
But I encourage you. I always say that all voice experiences should work well, voice only, and multimodal should just make them work better, with this some exceptions.
Yeah.
Right.
Is Samsung planning to introduce Bixby in new languages and expand the marketplace to new regions?
Yes.
Yep.
But we can give you more details.
Yep. It's definitely on the roadmap.
It's already in several. Yeah, so it's in languages, but maybe if you're talking about the marketplace, so I'm gonna get it's in English, German, French, Spanish, Korean. I'm gonna miss a few. I can't remember. It's 8 or 9 different languages, but there's only a marketplace in the U.S. and Korea right now. So if you're
Yeah.
talking about marketplace, like somebody asked about UK, right? Even though it's UK English, yes, you can use Bixby, but there's no third-party capsules yet. But definitely plans to do that. Are there any efforts to build once and run on multiple platforms, kind of like Alexa and Google Home? So I don't. Here's what I'd say about that. We don't have any plans to build something like that, but if you're interested in that, you definitely should check out my friends, the Jovo framework. I love what those guys are doing. Uh, the Jovo team, Jovo, and they have a cross voice assistant platform. It's really awesome to develop on it, and I highly recommend checking it out.
So we missed the, we missed the question. Don't worry, didn't forget you, Jenny.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Do you think that Bixby developers will get access to phone or watch haptics or sensor info in the nearest future, or is that way down the list? I'd say that's probably a low priority at the moment. Yeah. So
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, I guess what would be interesting, what helps us is sometimes if you guys tell us what you want to build there,
Mhm.
Because then we can share that internally and get people excited about something.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, quite frankly, you guys as third-party developers make things more exciting and more interesting. So we don't think of uses.
Right.
So
Right.
share that. I
And
think
we're not just evangelists for Bixby, we're evangelists for you guys too, right? So we take your message and we bring it back home to Bixby and let them know what you guys are thinking. So, yeah.
so. Hey, Jonathan, I noticed we're kind of at the end of the hour.
Oh, one more Santa then, right?
I think there should one more Santa.
One more Santa, Roger. We can't, it's the holiday season. It's the holiday season.
All right, if we're going to end this, let's end it with something pretty cool.
Okay.
I have another S9 phone to give away.
Another S9.
Another S9.
Wow. Okay.
All right. All right. Drum roll. Drum roll. Random number generator. Generate a random number. You want to number 96. All right.
Wow.
Love some 90s today's.
Yeah, all the latecomers.
Yeah. Oh, I know this person. Ashish Jha. Ashish Jha.
Wow.
Ashish, are you on the if you are not on, if you're on there, say congratulations. But either way,
Oh, hey, Ashish, there you are. Congratulations.
oh, you're gonna
You
get
won.
an S9, man.
Yes, you won the S9. Yes.
Awesome. All right, hey guys, that is it for the holiday. Let me get this silly thing out of my face. Version of the Bixby Office Hours. I hope you guys enjoyed it, learned something from Jonathan, and enjoyed the giveaways. And yeah, it'll be the second. What is this second Friday in January? I should have all this information.
Yeah. These are just always on the second Fridays of stuff of each month.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll get the date. Hang on.
All right.
Fire up some things here. Let's be January 8th would be the next office hours.
Mhm.
And we haven't figured out what the topic will be. So if you guys want to message us in Twitter or something, or have some ideas, go ahead there. And then, yeah, please follow us on, at Bixby Developers on Twitter. And we also are on Facebook. And then you can also follow at Roger Kibbe. And Jonathan, you are John without the H, right?
Yeah. Our Twitter handles, if you're looking for them.
There. All right.
Yeah, there they are, right here.
I think if we had our act together, we'd have a fancy screenshot with all this stuff there. Oh, you got it.
We have a slide. We have a slide, Roger. That's
All right.
yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks, guys. And please don't be shy about asking questions. Jonathan is absolutely right. Our job is really to help you guys and to help you guys develop interesting things. So never be shy to come and ask us questions about, hey, I want to do this X, Y, Z with Bixby. How do I do that? Ask questions. Ask them on Stack Overflow. Ask them on Twitter. You can open a support ticket. However you want to ask a question, please do. And have a great holiday to everyone. So
Great.
thanks, guys.
Yep. Happy holidays, everyone. Thanks for joining us again, and see you next time.